also Liverpool called to be informed on the situation of Hugo Ekitike. Liverpool always had an interest in the player, and he remains one of the options they have in the list. But Hugo Ekitike will be a Liverpool target only if they can't get Alexander Isak. Because at this stage, Liverpool are still trying to make something crazy and special happen for Alexander Isak. It's really difficult, it's really complicated. Newcastle always wanted to keep the player. Newcastle believe they can offer him an important new deal with an important salary in the upcoming weeks. So Newcastle are always trying everything possible to keep the player at the club, but Liverpool want to try. He's always been the dream target, he's always been the top target. What I'm told is that in the recent hours, Liverpool made a direct approach to Newcastle to inform them of the intention to open negotiations for a club record fee for Alexander Isak. So, if Newcastle get Hugo Ekitike, Liverpool really want to try for Alexander Isak. That's the mission for Liverpool. Then, if Alexander Isak will not be available on the market, Hugo Ekitike can be an option not only for Newcastle, who wanted Hugo Ekitike and want Hugo Ekitike not based on what happens with Isak, but in any case, they believe they can play together, and that could be also part of succession plan for the future of the club, but they wanted Ekitike, that's the point, full stop. Now, if Liverpool are going to be able to make something happen for Alexander Isak, we will see. But for sure, they are trying, making a direct approach to Newcastle for Alexander Isak. Then it's now for Newcastle. They can decide whether to sell or whether to reject. They always say they wanted to keep the player, that's always been the mission. We will now follow the situation and what happens with Alexander Isak, but for sure Liverpool want to try for their dream target with an eventual club record bid. So Liverpool are really intention to try, and they made an approach, direct approach with Newcastle. Then, if they can't get Alexander Isak, Hugo Ekitike could be an option for Liverpool, while Newcastle are working on the deal, because Newcastle, at the moment, are the only club that presented an official bid for Hugo Ekitike and are in negotiations with his agents and with Eintracht. So let's see what's going to happen there between Newcastle and Liverpool in this story for Hugo Ekitike, but also in this story for Alexander Isak. That would be massive, that would be incredible for Liverpool. They are actually trying, but of course this is in the hands of Newcastle. Newcastle have always wanted to keep the player, promised to the player that they want to offer him a really important new contract with a huge salary. But obviously, now is in the hands of Newcastle to decide what they want to do, because Liverpool, for Alexander Isak, are trying. So they want to make something crazy happen. That would be very difficult, they know that, but it depends on Newcastle. The approach has been made, otherwise Hugo Ekitike remains one of the options in the list at Liverpool for this summer transfer window, waiting to see what happens with Newcastle, who presented an official bid to Eintracht Frankfurt. So a crazy story, a crazy domino on the market, this one. It's going to be crazy also the situation for the future of Luis Diaz, because today Bayern presented a new official bid for Luis Diaz, 67.5 million euros. Official bid, in paper, official email from Bayern to Liverpool. Liverpool immediately rejected. Liverpool are not accepting 60, 65, 67. These numbers are not enough to convince Liverpool to sell Luis Diaz. So that's the answer from Liverpool. Don't forget also Barcelona, because Barcelona remain in contact with the agents of Luis Diaz, but at the moment the deal is very expensive, so not easy at all for Barcelona, not easy also for Bayern. Both clubs remain in contact with the agents of the player, Barcelona and Bayern. They will have more round of talks, but now Bayern are going very big. The official bid has been rejected. Bayern want to attack and try again for Luis Diaz, so they are not leaving the conversation. They believe Luis Diaz can be a perfect signing, but again, Liverpool are rejecting this money, are rejecting these proposals, because they believe Luis Diaz is worth more than this with 2 years left on his contract. So that's the situation for
Liverpool are making headlines across Europe after their jaw-dropping £120 million bid for Newcastle United striker Alexander Isak was accepted, signalling a major statement of intent from the Reds under Arne Slot's new era. The Anfield Giants, eager to reinforce their attack after a season of near misses, are now moving aggressively in the transfer market with another high-profile target in sight, Hugo Ekitike. Sources close to the club confirm that Liverpool have reached an agreement in principle with Newcastle for Isak, who scored 21 Premier League goals last season and established himself as one of the most lethal finishers in Europe. The Swedish international's arrival would be a massive coup as Liverpool prepare to challenge Manchester City for the Premier League crown and make a deep run in the Champions League. Negotiations for personal terms are already underway, with Isak reportedly excited about the prospect of leading Liverpool's front line alongside Mohamed Salah and Darwin Núñez. Arne Slot views Isak as the perfect striker for his high-pressing, dynamic attacking system, a player with pace, clinical finishing, and the technical ability to link play. Meanwhile, Liverpool are not stopping there. Reports indicate that talks with Paris Saint-Germain over Hugo Ekitike have intensified in the last 48 hours. The young French striker, who spent last season on loan at Eintracht Frankfurt, is seen as a long-term project with huge upside. The Reds are keen on adding depth and competition to their attacking options, especially as doubts linger over the futures of Luis Diaz and Diogo Jota. Fans have erupted on social media in response to the double transfer news, with many praising the club's ambition. The arrival of Isak alone would smash Liverpool's transfer record and send shockwaves throughout the Premier League. If Ekitike is also secured, it would mark one of the boldest attacking overhauls in recent years at Anfield. With pre-season set to begin shortly, Liverpool are determined to wrap up both deals quickly to allow Slot the maximum time to integrate his new stars into the squad. The message from the club is clear: Liverpool are building for dominance. Could this be the summer that transforms Liverpool into title favourites?